thank you. Cutting cravings, simple.
And it's simply delicious. Healthy doesn't have to taste bad. In fact, with Goli, it's actually delicious.
Visit Goli.com/TV.
You're going to bring the money?
Race for the White House. New season starts Sunday, February 16th at 9. Goli's captured in court in Call 1-800-100020. Do you have an idea for an invention? Call today.
Hi, Bray.
Call 800-710-0000. Of course, the lead up to President Trump's trial has been contentious, to say the least, with Democrats and Republicans accusing one another of being biased. But one person is obligated to remain impartial, that is the Chief Justice of the United States, John Roberts, who will preside over the Senate trial. CNN's Gloria Borger has more on the Chief Justice.
Jim, the phrase impartial justice is not new to John Roberts, and he may need to show senators how it's done when he travels across the street to the Senate on Tuesday. In this class photo of the men and women in black, one justice sits smiling front and center. But Chief Justice John Roberts will soon leave his natural habitat at the sedate Supreme Court and move to the political minefield of the Senate as he presides over the trial of the president. When he's over at the Supreme Court, overseeing that body, he's actually a judge. He's casting votes, he's deciding cases. When he is at the Senate, he's not casting a vote for or against Donald Trump. He's presiding over a trial. The Constitution itself is vague on his job description, saying only this: the Chief Justice shall preside.
And I'm now ready to take the oath.
His one-time mentor, Chief Justice William Rehnquist, took a hands-off approach to the job when he sat on the dais throughout Bill Clinton's impeachment.
The Senate will convene as a court of impeachment.
2 decades later, Mitch McConnell makes it clear he'd like Roberts to stick to the same script.
I would anticipate the Chief Justice would not actually make any rulings. He would simply submit a motion to the body, and we would vote.
That's probably just fine with Roberts. John Roberts is naturally reserved. John Roberts is very much concerned about appearances and the judiciary looking impartial. I cannot imagine John Roberts having any incentive to intervene in the business of the Senate in a way that would look like he was actually controlling the fate of Donald Trump. Although he has pushed back at the president in the past, directing a public broadside against Trump after he publicly criticized judges as political. Roberts wrote, "We do not have Obama judges or Trump judges."
We do not sit on opposite sides of an aisle. We do not caucus in separate rooms. We do not serve one party or one interest. We serve one nation.
Roberts' pushback against Trump was an example of what an artful politician Roberts is, because it showed him defending the judiciary, pretending, in my view, that they are apolitical, but giving himself the political space to continue to be the conservative that he's always been.
Roberts was thrust into the court's top role 14 years ago. Now at 64, he leads an ideologically divided court, just as Donald Trump and a Democratic House majority continually collide.
It's like two glaciers crushing together, and anybody that's got between those two glaciers or icebergs can be crushed. I mean, there's high stakes and lots of tension.
And where does that leave John Roberts?
Hey.
Not just presiding over impeachment in the Senate, but potentially deciding issues affecting the presidency itself at the High Court.
Every generation has a moment where the Supreme Court seems to stand on the edge of the abyss. Right now, there are fundamental questions about the protection of individual liberty and about the basic structure of our government that are up for grabs in ways that we haven't seen in decades.
Roberts is a product of the Reagan Revolution, that cadre of young lawyers who served in Washington to change the world.
Well, the tenor of the times was that there hadn't been a Republican president. There hadn't been an acceptance or an involvement of the conservative movement.
He was a special assistant to the Attorney General. Before that, he was clerk to Justice Rehnquist and a very prominent Court of Appeals judge. So he was in the judiciary then. Then he was in the White House, the executive branch.
When, at 27, he went to work for Ronald Reagan's counsel, Fred Fielding.
When you're in the White House counsel's office, you have to put in your thinking an ingredient of the political impact and the social impact of something, not just the legalistic impact. And I hope that was helpful to John in developing his own philosophy.
He was for limiting voting rights. He was for eliminating affirmative action. He was for restricting abortion rights. This was the Reagan agenda, and it was his agenda.
Married with 2 children, the son of an Indiana steel executive and a private high school, and Harvard Law, the young Roberts always figured he'd be writing history.
Nah.
What motivated me to go to law school is that there were not a lot of jobs for history teachers.
Roberts had plenty of offers as a lawyer and became a federal judge. And then in 2005, George W. Bush catapulted him to the ultimate job at the age of 50.
In public service and in private practice, he has argued 39 cases before the Supreme Court.
Roberts was smooth.
I will remember that it's my job to call balls and strikes and not to pitch or bat. Judges and justices are servants of the law, not the other way around. Judges are like umpires. Umpires don't make the rules, they apply them.
In the past, Roberts has been a proponent of presidential authority.
Executive power, especially vis-a-vis the Congress, has been one of Roberts' core values.
The law senators now stand.
But in the Senate chamber, Roberts doesn't rule. Even so, he may be asked to, especially because Democrats and Republicans are battling over witnesses.
If I am confirmed.
When Justice nominee Roberts was asking for Senate votes for himself, it went very well.
John Roberts was the last justice whose appointment was almost apart from partisanship, that his qualifications were so great and his confirmation hearing testimony was so impressive that he got almost half of Democratic senators to vote for him.
But this time, it's not about him. And those who know John Roberts say he will want to keep it that way. Jim?
Laura Borgia, thanks very much. Democrats will need 4 Republican senators to break ranks if they want to get witnesses called in the Senate impeachment trial. We're going to break down who to keep your eye on with that decision coming. That's coming up next.
Charmin Ultra Soft.
Softer than ever. Charmin Ultra Soft is softer than ever, so it's harder to resist. Okay, this is getting a little weird. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
I gotta say, I need a break, and I've been thinking about the weekend. I've been dreaming about it all day. I get it all, I get it now. Everybody say, oh my mind, oh my mind.
Just between us, you know what's better than mopping? Anything. At the end of a long day, it's the last thing I want to do. Well, I switched to Swiffer WetJet, and it's awesome. It's an all-in-one, so it's ready to go when I am. The cleaning solution actually breaks down dirt and grime, and the pad absorbs it deep inside, so it prevents streaks and haze better than my old mop. Plus, it's safe to use on all my floors, even wood. Glad I got that. And the day off my floor.
Try WetJet, the money-back guarantee. I'm your mother-in-law, and I like to question your every move. Like this left turn. You always drive this slow.
How did you make someone I love not?
Save 40% for avoiding mayhem like me. It's my son's favorite color. You should try it. We always drive like an old lady.
You're an old lady.
I have always wanted to do this. This is gonna be awesome. Let's do this!
Hey, what are you doing?
Gonna live with the bathroom. Who are you?
The bathfitter installer, remember? Bathfitter custom made our new bath to fit perfectly over the old one, so there's no demo or match.
Impressive. Wait, so no demo? Sorry.
Bathfitter
Tyler will remodel your bath with no messy demolition in as little as 1 day. Call now or visit bathfitter.com for a free in-home consultation.
Diarrhea? Pepto Diarrhea to the rescue. 3 times concentrated liquid formula coats and kills bacteria to relieve diarrhea. The leading competitor only treats symptoms. It does nothing to kill the bacteria. Treat diarrhea at its source. Pepto Diarrhea. Robinhood believes now is the time to do Robinhood. In Key West, you can get close to nature. Close to history. And really close to the band. In fact, Key West is close to perfect, but far from normal.
When we see you enter through our doors, we don't see who you're against or for, whether tomorrow will be light or dark. All we see in you is a spark. We see your kindness and humanity, the strength of each community. The more we look, the more we find the sparks that make America shine.
Can't find the perfect fitting t-shirt? Get M Tailor. Standard t-shirts are one size fits all. M Tailor takes 8 measurements on your foot for perfectly fitted t-shirts. Download it for free on iOS or Android.
The Senate impeachment trial offers a fascinating opportunity to watch party politics play out. If they could get just 4 GOP Democrats could force a lot of procedural issues, but the key is being the question of whether the Senate will hear from witnesses and view new evidence. With that in mind, CNN politics reporter Chris Rosa has compiled a list of 8 senators to watch, crucial ones. Chris has the details here because obviously you don't need 4 to join Democrats.
That's exactly right, Jim. Maybe at 8, I think we're going to be keeping an eye on as we go through the process. Let's start here. These are 2 senators, one retiring, Ron Alexander, longtime institutionalist, was the governor, is retiring in 2020. Doesn't have to worry about Trump. Now, Mitt Romney, not retiring, he got elected in 2018, not up until 2024. Although Utah is a very conservative state, Donald Trump is not terribly popular there. So keep an eye on both of those. Let's keep going. Now, the next group, I believe, this is our re-election issues group. Cory Gardner, up this November, he is running against John Hickenlooper, former governor, who did not run all that well in the Democratic presidential race, but is leading him. Joni Ernst, Iowa, swing state. Democrats like their nominee or their likely nominee here. Ernst won relatively easily last time, but will be under some pressure to think of back home. Let's keep going. Okay, these are the 2 faces that if you follow politics, these are the Republican moderates. Now, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins. These 2 were the 2 we were waiting for on the Brett Kavanaugh, the last huge Senate vote, the Brett Kavanaugh confirmation. Murkowski voted against, Susan Collins voted for. They are both on the record saying they're okay with the trial opening without witnesses, but they are both on the record as well saying they don't want to rule out the possibility of witnesses. Let's play Murkowski yesterday talking to local news, talking about that very fact. Let's play that.
I care about the roles and responsibilities that we have were outlined in the Constitution, and making sure that we're doing right by them. And so I don't want this proceeding to be a circus. I don't want it to be viewed as a mockery or a kangaroo court.
So, look, you can make what you want of that, but Chuck Schumer probably likes to hear that, Jim, because it sounds like she's open to at least talking about some votes that might be with Democrats. I want to finish on these last 2. Martha McSally got a lot of attention last week for being just rude unnecessarily to our colleague Manu Raju. She's in a state in which she, like Cory Gardner, is up for re-election this November, and like Cory Gardner, is trailing her Democratic opponent. And I just want to throw this guy in here. Doug Jones. He's the only one who's got a D by his name. Represents a state in Alabama that Donald Trump won overwhelmingly. He won a special election to replace Jeff Sessions. He beat Roy Moore. He is up in November for a full term. Let's see what he does. He could vote for against impeachment and still lose, against conviction and still lose. Let's see what he does here. But one Democrat line. Watch. So 7 Republicans, 1 Democrat. I think we're going to be talking a lot about the cases I just showed you. Jim, back to you.
Chris Elizabeth, thanks for watching them. Thanks very much. Coming up next, President Trump. He says that there's a long history with the legal system, and we're talking lawsuits numbering in the thousands. Tell us about his potential strategy to fight impeachment.
Cookie.
These days we're all stressed. I hear you, sister. That's why I'm partnering with Cigna to remind you to go in for your annual checkup. Anything physically and emotionally. But now Cigna has a plan to help everyone see stress differently. Just find a period of time to unwind, a location to de-stress, an activity to enjoy, or the name of someone to talk to. To create a plan that works for you, visit Cigna.com/mysstressrelief.
Gabriel!
Until I found out what
What do you want that for?
Well, I grabbed my paper sweeper and heavy-duty duster. Duster extends to 3 feet to get all that gross stuff. And for that nasty dust on my floor, my sweeper's on it. The textured cloths grab and hold dirt and hair no matter where dust bunnies hide. No more PUBG. Glad I stopped cleaning and started swippering.
I wanted my hepatitis C gone. I put off treating mine.
Epclusa treats all main types of chronic hep C. Whatever your type, Epclusa could be your kind of cure.
I just found out about mine.
I knew for years. Epclusa has a 98% overall cure rate. I had no symptoms of hepatitis C.
Mine caused liver damage.
Epclusa is only 1 pill, once a day, taken with or without food for 12 weeks. Before starting Epclusa, your doctor will test if you have had hepatitis B, which may flare up and could cause serious liver problems during and after treatment. Tell your doctor if you have had hepatitis B, other liver or kidney problems, HIV or other medical conditions, and all medicines you take, including herbal supplements. Taking amiodarone with Epclusa may cause a serious slowing of your heart rate. Common side effects include headache and tiredness. Ask your doctor today if Epclusa is your kind of cure.
Has asthma pushed you into a smaller life? Are your asthma treatments just not enough? Let's see what could open up for you with Fasenra. It is not a steroid or an inhaler. It is not a rescue medicine or for other eosinophilic condition. It's an add-on injection for people 12 and up with asthma driven by eosinophils. Nearly 7 out of 10 adults with asthma may have elevated eosinophils. Fasenra is designed to target and remove eosinophils, a key cause of asthma. It helps to prevent asthma attacks, improve breathing, and can reduce the need for oral steroids like prednisone. Fasenra may cause allergic reactions. Get help right away if you have swelling of your face, mouth, and tongue, or trouble breathing. Don't stop your asthma treatments unless your doctor tells you to. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection or your asthma worsens. Headache and sore throat may occur. Could you be living a bigger life? Ask an asthma specialist about Fasenra.
The impeachment heads to the Senate. Don't miss a moment from Capitol Hill. Complete coverage the way only CNN can bring it to you. The impeachment trial of President Donald J. Trump. Special live coverage on CNN.
I realized I was going bald as early as college. I stayed completely bald. It was just easier because no one made fun of me in the locker room then.
Get your own head of thick, full hair with Restore.
The thing that surprised me the most about the procedure is how easy it was, how fast it went by, and how pain-free it was.
Look better and feel better with Restore.
It's amazing what this procedure does. It's a huge confidence boost.
Get your hair back. Call 800-883-8585 now for your free consultation and get a $500 discount. That's 800-883-8585.
So he just stopped working? Yeah, but I called ABC Reading. Perfect, so it's done.
Did you look at the thing?
I called ABC Plumbing, Dad.
Great. So it's done.
Consider it done.
Welcome to PUBG Mobile.
Consider it done.
The Windsors, Inside the Royal Dynasty, premieres Sunday, February 16th at 10 on CNN.
Tonight
tonight, a source close to the White House tells CNN the president specifically sought a high-profile leader to perform on television for his defense during the impeachment trial. CNN's Tom Foreman has more